Great. Irony of this video. In this video, you have Polite, who's about to question an Israelite group that says you can sleep and grape an underage girl. Polite is currently in jail for the same thing he's about to condemn them for. I want y'all to take a listen to this. And then you have to ask yourself, Israel, why are y'all still listening to men like this? Let's take a listen. In the kingdom, we're going to get them young. Let me tell you something. Why am I showing this? This popped on my timeline. This popped on my feed when I was just scrolling on Facebook. And when I saw that, it's indicative of what's happening right now. That video came out in, let's say, 2013, 2014, or something like that. Nobody thought anything of it. We was talking about Polite coming from Malachi, York back then. Nobody cared. Nobody thought anything of it. Nobody thought about the damage that it does to the people. Polite's in jail for it. And right now you have Israelites that are doing the same exact thing, where they're changing doctrines, lying on the scriptures, what it says, what it can't do, and y'all in Israel still give this type of behavior a pass. And you wonder why the Lord ain't sent Yahushua yet. That's why. And y'all in Israel still give this type of behavior a pass. And you wonder why the Lord ain't sent Yahushua yet. That's why.
All right. Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises. Honor and all glory unto the Heavenly Father, Yahweh. Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem. Rakakwadash. To the apostles, bishops, elders, and GMS. Shalom to you, brothers, Christians, truth, and sincerity across the four winds of the earth. And it's going to be entitled Israelites Need to Grow Up, man. Right, and this is going to be, no, this ain't going to be a long, extensive video, but I just want to hit a particular point that he said at the beginning of the video. And for some reason, it's still, it's still a problem going amongst the soft, effeminate Israelites, man. Now, so the topic at hand is always the grape or the little girl thing or whatever the hell, right? Now, when you deal with the scriptures, man, you have to put off, right? First off, you have to become a new creature. But you have to put off the things and the way that you were living in this captivity. First thing, right? You have to understand this is an ancient book. Right? This is an ancient book. So the customs and things that were being done in the past and how things were done, right? And then going to get done, because when in the kingdom, the laws is going to be established on earth. And we're going to be able to judge it according to the law. That certain things was done, a lot of things, everything was done different than how we were raised and where you was born in Russia, China, you in Babylon the Great, whatever the case, you in the UK, all in between. Doesn't matter where you're at. What took place in the ancient times is completely different than how we grew up here. You need to make a difference between the two. So you need to put off what you learned and how you grew up and put that aside where you're reading and going into ancient customs, man. You don't get nothing. You don't get nowhere. You're not fruitful if you over here trying to see something in the scriptures. You get upset. Your spirit can't deal with it. So you try to teach against it, try to make everybody feel good and make yourself feel good. No, man, you going about it the wrong way. If there's something in the scripture that you can't understand and you can't see yourself in that situation, you just pray to the Lord for understanding and keep it moving, man. Just because your fleshly self can't fathom being in a situation or being around that situation, have to deal with it according to the scriptures, doesn't give you right to teach against that, man. Because the scriptures say what they say and it means what it means, man. And particularly talking about the young age of women, and then the whole grape thing, man. In the kingdom, Now, obviously, we're not there, so we don't know what's going to be going on day to day, right? But we know that what? There's going to be judges on the earth, and they're going to be judging according to what? What's in the scriptures, the law, statutes, and commandments. So, let's say now, in the kingdom, a situation arises to where somebody gets raped. What do you do, and how do you judge the matter, man? You see, people, you teach this. No, that's what the Bible teaches, man. So what are you gonna do in the kingdom? What you gonna get? You gonna pull out your phone? You probably ain't gonna have no phones. Who knows? And pull out your phone, you gonna make a video. These people going off. These brothers going off. Look at it. It doesn't make sense, man. The only thing that is being said, and in the kingdom, is gonna go back to ancient customs. Only thing that's being said, if the situation arises, what to do and how to deal with it. That's what's being taught, man. Right? So let's deal with that first, and then I'm going to touch on the other thing. I did some diving here. But let's get this. And I want to see what this says in NOT. Right, this is Deuteronomy 22. Right? And it's the title, the subheading for the Deuteronomy 22. It says regulations for sexual purity. Right. Now, let's go down to everything that people get a butt hurt about. Little brother. And let's see what it says. We're just gonna start at 22, right? Deuteronomy 22 and 22 in the NLT. If a man is discovered committing adultery, both he and the woman must die in this way. You will purge Israel of such evil. It says, suppose a man meets a young woman, a virgin who is engaged to be married, and he has sexual intercourse with her. If this happens within the town, you must take both of them to the gates of the town and stone them to death. That's what's supposed to happen when adultery is committed. But do you see anybody grabbing these people up and taking them down and throwing them and stoning them? No, you don't see none of that because we can't enact the laws. But that's being promoted everywhere, in every song, every damn music video, every TV show, all that stuff is just being promoted. It says, but if this man meets the engaged, okay, here we go. Never mind. I don't like the way the NLT is reading it, but here we go. Right? It says, continue on in 24. It says, and stone them to death. The woman is guilty because she did not scream for help. The man must die because he violated another man's wife. In this way, you will purge the evil from among you. Right, but here we go. 25. This is where people get their damn hands all twisted up in the damn pretzel knot. It says, but if the man meets the engaged woman out in the country and he rapes her, right? That's what it says. It says, then only the man must die. Do nothing to the young woman. She has committed no crime worthy of death. She is innocent as a murder victim. It says, since the man, I'm going to say grape for YouTube purposes. Since the man raped her, right? It says, out in the country, it must be assumed that she screamed, but there was no one to rescue her. Suppose a man has intercourse with a young woman who is a virgin, but is not engaged to be married if they are discovered. He must pay her father 50 pieces of silver. Then he must marry the young woman because he violated her, and he may never divorce her as long as he lived. A man must not marry his father's former wife, for this would violate his father. See, now let's go back. Let me see what this is in NIV. It says pretty much the same thing, right? And then you read it in the KJV, right? You go straight to the point. Deuteronomy 22 and 25 in the KJV. Now it says, but if a man find a betrothed damsel in the field, and a man force her and lie with her, then the man only that lay with her shall die. But unto the damsel thou shalt do nothing. There is in the damsel no sin worthy of death. For as it's like it. For as when a man ariseth against his neighbor and slayeth him, even so is this matter. For he found her in the field, and betrothed the damsel cried, and there was none to save her. If a man find a damsel that is a virgin, which is not betrothed, and lay hold on her, and lie with her, and they be found, then the man, right, that lay with her shall give unto the damsel's father 50 shekels of silver, and she shall be his wife, because he hath humbled her. He may not put her away all his days. That's literally what it says, man. There's situation that arrives, and every situation that happens, what was the variables, as it were? What was different, right? And this is what you do depending upon the situation. If the woman didn't have a husband, right, and she did have a husband, she didn't cry out, or she did cry out, what do you do? It's very simple, man. And I don't understand. What you see, brother? That's all that's being said, man. And that's why people have to grow up, man. Because it's not a hard topic, man. And I don't understand why you so ashamed. Because you're just ashamed of the gospel. That's just what it is. Why are you so ashamed to bring it out, man? See, but that's what the apostles always say. These people don't have a ruling class mentality. You're not ready to be rulers and judges on earth, because all this stuff has to be brought out, man. All of it has to be brought out. So if something was to happen, you need to know how to deal with it, man. But even though in the kingdom you're gonna be perfect, so you gonna know how to judge the matter, because the elect, right? Starting off with the elect, they're gonna have. All the Israelites gonna be perfect, but the elect is gonna be the governing body, and there's gonna be situations that arise that you're gonna need to know. Okay, what does the law say? This happens. This happens. This happens. And it's not that hard, man. It's not. So let's go to the next one. People get upset. Let's start off with the scripture. Then I'm gonna go into the AI overview. It says. We're going to start at 34, right? It's 1 Corinthians 7 and 34. It says, there's a difference also between a wife and a virgin. The unmarried woman cared for the things of the Lord, that she may be holy, be holy both in body and in spirit. But she that is married cared for the things of the world, how she may please her husband. And this I speak for you. I speak for your own profit, not that I may cast a snare upon you, but for that which is comely, and that ye may attend upon the Lord without distraction. And that's why let me get this. Oh, I'm here. We done with Deuteronomy 22. Hard to be under. No, it's something like that. Yeah, here you go. 2 Peter 3 and 16. It says actually no, we gotta start up. We're gonna start at 14. It says, wherefore, beloved, seeing that ye look for such things, be diligent that ye may be found of him in peace, without spot and blameless. It says, and that the long suffering of our Lord is salvation, even as our beloved brother Paul also, according to the wisdom given unto him, hath written unto you, as also in all his epistles, speaking in them of these things, in which are some things hard to be understood, which they that are unlearned and unstable rest. It says, as they do also in other scriptures, unto their own destruction. Some things may be hard to understand from the Apostle Paul, man. Right now, let's go to this. Right, and it says, and he said, what did the Apostle Paul say? He said, and this I speak for your own profit, not that I may cast a snare upon you. You see, it says, but for that which is comely, and that ye may attend upon the Lord without distraction. Some of the things that the Apostle Paul said is hard to be understood. You may read it and see something like, oh, whoa, hey, what do you mean? But That's because you need to have discernment, man. It says, this is 36 now. It says, 1 Corinthians 7:36. It says, but if any man think that he behaveth himself uncomely toward his virgin, if she pass the flower of her age, and need so require, let him do what he will, he sinneth not, let them marry. Now, let's see what it says, the NLT. I think I read this in NLT before. Yeah, no. See if we can get a different translation here. See if we get anything good on them. It's probably not gonna be one in a good translation here. Okay, here we go. This is in the NSB 95. It says, 1 Corinthians 7:36. It says, but if any man think that he's acting unbecomingly towards his virgin daughter, if she pass her youth, and if it must be so, I don't like that one. Okay, yeah. So none of these translations are really good. Yeah, and just take the KJV for this. Right. So now you have to understand. Now there's another topic. Jake get all butthurt. Brother. Now the flower age. Let's go to the meaning. Right. I did a deep dive overview, an AI overview, which was like the deep dive or whatever, and I put the flower age meaning. Right. It says it refers to the time in a young woman's life where she reaches physical maturity, puberty, and is considered old enough to be married and bear children. The specific age varied on the culture. For example, Jewish, you obviously got to chew the meat, spit out the bones. Jewish tradition often considered it to be around 12 and a half years old. Now, I typed in, I said, when did women typically get married in ancient Israel? It says, in ancient Israel, women typically married soon after reaching puberty, most commonly between the ages of 12 and 15. It says, marriage was considered a natural and essential part of life, and women were generally expected to marry and start having children at a young age. And then, now let's see. I want to do this to age gaps, right? It says age gap. It says men typically married later. It says often in their late teens, 20s, or even 30s, as they needed time to establish themselves financially and prepare a home for their new family. This often resulted in a significant age gap between husbands and wives. Do you see? That what people wasn't waiting to know 30 women, 25, 30 years old to start doing it. What, like, that doesn't even happen. That doesn't even happen in this society. These people start having fucking sex at 14, 15, 13. And I heard the Yashawama say it. And it was true, man. And all in high school, 16 over there sleeping with the teachers, police officers, all type of shit, man. All types of people in the school, man. You see, having multiple partners by the age 17 in this fucking place, man. So what are you talking about? You see? And then you start asking the men, what age did you start doing? Right? You gonna say around the same age, man. Like, nobody was waiting around till she's 28 and then she go up. No, man. That's not what happened in the ancient times, man. That's not what happened. You see, and this says right here, it says, in the context of 1 Corinthians 7:36, the phrase is used when discussing a father's or a guardian's decision regarding his virgin daughter's marriage prospects. The passage suggests, if a woman has passed the flower of her age and has a strong need or desire to marry, perhaps lacking the gift of celibacy, her guardian may allow her to marry without sin. This is the phrase underscores that she has reached an age where remaining unmarried might be considered unseemly or difficult in that cultural context, making marriage a proper and acceptable choice. And then that goes into all the other stuff. But that's just what it is, man. In ancient times, it wasn't normal. It wasn't happening, man. It wasn't happening. Like, people get on, brother, you just want to, no. And you gotta understand that is gonna come back. And just because, and the thing is, and actually I want to get this too, because just because let's say in an arrangement, let's say that the dude is 20, 25 or whatever the case, right? And then the woman like 13, 14. But you know, the family's talking to me like she's gonna be promised unto him, so on and so forth. Just because the woman, you know, is at that age and being promised to this man doesn't mean that the man immediately has to go in unto her, man. So you make it seem like you just doing. It has nothing to do with that, man. Because dude could wait. It's all personal. Dude can wait till she starts growing more, whatever the case may be, and so on and so forth. Like, you people I don't get it, man. Weddings and marriage traditions in ancient Israel. It says marriage in ancient Israel involved practices and assumptions different from those of most people living in Western societies. And obviously they got to whitewash everything. You know, Esau being the damn Esau. Whatever. It says marriage in ancient Israel was very different from marriage today. It says, although there is a great deal we do not know about the Israelite marriage, it says the biblical texts that speak about it tell us that many Israelite marriage customs were unlike those of modern Western societies. Because what is the typical marriage in Babylon the Great? A man, you get married with a woman after she'd have been with fucking 10 people, 12 people, and now she putting on her damn white period dress, and you fucking be all simple, and then you start it's folly, man. It's folly. Then you fucking get divorced, you take half your money, and then so on. And come on, man. This is heathen cultures, man. Heathen customs. It says, first, although girls were expected to be virgins when they got married, and according to Deuteronomy 22 and 21, could even be put to death if they were found not to be, could even be put to death if they were found not to be men, were allowed. I don't know if that's a typo or I'm reading it wrong or whatever the case. It says men were allowed to marry multiple women. Right? It said it's hard to know how common polygamy, which entailed the husband being married to more than one woman, really was in ancient Israel. I'm not going to read that. I'm going to go down to, let's see here. There was something that I read in here that I want to actually bring up. Oh, here we go. Okay. It says, also the evidence suggests that compared to women, men had more control over whom they married. For example, Samson chooses his own wife in Judges 14. It says, even though his parents disapprove of the match. Most likely, girls were married around puberty, whereas men were somewhat older. Though unions were generally based more on economic or social considerations than romantic, it says, or social considerations than romantic ones. It says some texts, including the Song of Songs, show us that ideas of passion and sexual love were also present in ancient Israel. So that's it, man. It's very simple. It's very easy to be understood, man. But when you have these big old congregations and you have a whole bunch of women in there, you want their money, you want this, you want that. Yeah, it doesn't obviously appease to women's emotion to bring something out like this, to bring out something like this, and it doesn't appease to most of the Israelites. But who cares? This is about the word of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. This is about what the text says, man. It doesn't matter about how you got to put off what you learned and grew up in this place. Because in the kingdom, women ain't gonna be having no damn 8, 10, 12 partners, and then finally, you're 35, now you want to settle down. No, that's not happening, man. It's not happening. Everything's gonna go back to its rightful order. And you can't prove anywhere that women was getting married at 30, 25, doing way that. It's just not there, man. And there's just so much stuff that's in the scripture that can make people whoa. That's why you just pray on it. If you can't see yourself in a situation, you pray on it, but you still teach and believe in the right thing, man. Just because your simple flesh can't understand or put yourself in a situation, you don't see how you would be able to act or whatever the case. Pray on it, man. But you still have to teach and believe on the right things, man. Because the ways of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua is higher than our ways, man. This is very simple. It's just that easy. And then, one last thing. I completely forgot what I was about to say. But this is an ancient book, man. So the customs that was being taken part of, in ancient times, is not gonna match up to how you grew up in this place, man. This is gonna be contrary. But in the kingdom, all this stuff is getting ready to come. It's coming back, man. So that's it. That's all I'm gonna say. You Israelites need to grow up, man. I'm gonna give all praises, all honor, and all glory to